Welcome to Magical Tea Party. Today we're talking about Curse of Strahd again. This time we are going to begin discussing Vallaki, which is the big old town in it, the only place that the party will feel safe for a couple of sessions, and then even they'll not feel safe there, which is good. Despite it being a safe place, it is still riddled with dangers that the party are going to have to handle in different ways to what they would outside of this place. Most of the things are probably just going to run up and try and kill them outside of Vallaki. In Vallaki, they're going to have a much more nuanced approach. There is far too much stuff for me to cover in one video about this place. So in this episode, we're going to condense it down, and I'm just going to discuss Vallaki as a general town and how to run it. It won't be so much as, oh, you go into the Blue Water Inn and you do this, and then, oh, you go into the frickin' mansion and then do this. We'll talk about that in other episodes because it requires a lot of talking. The maps are 3-layered at least, they're all intricate, and they have a lot of stuff going on. I will begin by just saying, you know, what Vallaki is and how you can expand on what the book gives you, and perhaps a few alterations. First of all, the most important alteration, in my opinion, is how the party actually get into Vallaki. I believe that the way the book words it, it is far too easy to get in. They can just straight up walk in and out. Gates aren't locked, there's guards standing outside. The party, if it's daytime, can just get in, which I don't like. In the night, they're going to need to make a persuasion check with a DC 20, which makes much more sense, and I'd allow that. But I'd like to add one additional component that I think you guys should use as well. Getting in shouldn't be that easy, and the party needs to do something for the town, and in particular the Baron, in order to make some waves and get in. Because even though it's a very open-ended place, and they advertise their freedom and spirit and heartiness and adversity in the face of danger, they're still not going to let any old bugger walk in, because who knows, they might be a bunch of werewolves. So my solution is that they are allowed in, but they are escorted by a group of guards that then see them all the way over to the Baron's mansion. And the Baron will greet them, and he'll talk to them, and they'll get to know him a little bit. He's lawful evil, but he very much pretends to be lawful good, and he's good at it. He is a man that can talk very well. Probably as good as most of the faces in the party. Now, he, in my game, will ask the party what their business is and will ask for a favour in return for his hospitality, in the form of them being spokespeople for Vallaki. That's right, he wants the party to say how cool it all is. A festival happens every week in this place, which you should know about, and the next festival, the Festival of the Blazing Sun that comes up when they're arriving, they might even have the party as guests, where the Baron will hold a small ceremony, put them up on a pedestal, and ask them to tell the entire town that indeed all is well, which is his signature catchphrase. From there, they have a much better free reign, and he has no reason to suspect anything of them. Baron is a simple-minded man, and once the party have done what they need to do, probably won't be involved with them so much. Now, when they're meeting with the Baron himself, try and steer them out of exploring anywhere else in the mansion. The Baron's a secretive man, and a lot of his secrets should not be revealed in the first session of arriving to Vallaki, otherwise it very much just cuts some of the tension out. Because at some point in the game, you might return there. There's a few reasons that they could. Izek Strasny might find Irina Kolyana, and things might go bad there. They might have been foretold to have an ally in Viktor Valakovich, the son of the Baron, who is currently up in the attic doing weird wizard shit with skeleton cats, I believe. I haven't run him yet. Try not to let them uncover the secrets of Vallaki straight away, otherwise they won't have a reason to come back time and time again. My party currently in my Friday game of Curse of Strahd are using Vallaki as a hub. It is in the center of the map, and that is what the party should use it for, I believe. It has a hallowed ground church if they make sure that they return the bones of St. Androl there. They have an inn that is run by a bunch of lawful good were-ravens who try and help the party. They have, his alias is Rick Tavio, but he's Rudolf van Richten, there we go. There is a saber-toothed tiger who's going to be friendly with them, but might kill Esmeralda. And there's a lot of things there that can help them defend. A siege on Vallaki is something I very much anticipate doing in the coming sessions of my Friday game, and it is probably the best place for one to happen because they're not going to get entirely overrun. They're well guarded, well manned, and they have a lot of powerful people there. And if zombies come, Rudolf van Richten can fuck them all in the ass. Speaking of Rudolf van Richten, as I mentioned in the Rudolf van Richten video, you can go ahead and check that out there. He is only in the blue water in about half the time. This can be the same for other places and people, so maybe Gadolf Blinsky is out of his store putting up bunting for the next festival, or Father Lucian is out doing a public speech and getting heckled. It adds to the atmosphere of the place a little more, instead of just you walk through the streets and there's people looking at you. Ooh. Now, the party have quite a few ways of becoming enemies of Vallaki, because if they're not careful, they're going to end up pissing off a lot of people. They might laugh or comment rudely during a festival, causing them to be kicked out, and if they resist being kicked out, they're going to have their weapons taken from them, and then they're going to be kicked out and exiled. From there, if their weapons are taken from them and they're exiled, the Keepers of the Feather, the Were-Ravens, will return them to the party in a matter of days in an attempt to help them, because the Were-Ravens are your secret allies. I'll talk about them more in a future video. Now, if the party resists, and they are resisting good, and like Ezek has to run away or Ezek fucking dies, that's when everyone runs into their houses and lets the party do whatever they want in Vallaki, just so long as they don't kill the villagers. Then at that point, your party will start to feel lawful evil, or chaotic evil, or neutral evil. They'll just feel horrible, hopefully. And they have made an enemy of the place, but the town sees them as too dangerous to oppose, so they run into their houses and leave them. They'll still have free reign to do whatever they want in Vallaki, but no one is going to be friendly to them, and it's not going to feel like a hub anymore. It's going to feel isolated. They might not even get the favour of the Keepers of the Feather after a while, because they're lawful good. The party might discover a bunch of the city's secrets, which the Baron will have a massive problem with, and will try and perhaps silence them. He has some powerful people that can do so. Ezek Strasny is one of the many, who I will also talk about in a future video. But he also has quite an abundance of guards in comparison to Kretsk, which has like 10, I believe. Basically, if the party's mean, they get booted out. Makes sense. Something that the party might want to try and do, and something that I would really love a party to do, is talk to the entire village and try and convince them to do a final large siege on Castle Ravenloft. Now, if they do this, typically I will say no checks, no nothing. They cannot convince anyone in the place to do it. But if they become 9th or 10th level and have access to the Tome of Strahd, the Sun Sword, and the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind, then the town will accept and gear up and get ready to siege. This could create a massive opportunity, and something quite important is that people such as Rudolf van Richten / Rictavio might come with them. Keepers of the Feather might join the siege. Father Lucian may come in. Ezek Strasny may come in. And it will be a very cool finale, in addition to perhaps the party's final ally. A lot of people can join the siege, and it will be cool as fuck. However, you might want to kid out Strahd with a few more allies, so it balances it out. If Rahadin's alive, he should be there. Maybe even the Abbot. You could just bring the Abbot in. Strahd could have a fucking Daver on his team. That would be fun. They can't recruit the Wachter family, which is a relatively powerful family because they have cult fanatics and cultists, and she herself is a cult fanatic. And yeah, no, they're not going to be able to get them. And yeah, in terms of Strahd, if that happens, give him a bunch of Vistani. That should help. Okay, cheers for watching this somewhat, I don't know, maybe it was short, I can't tell, video about Vallaki. Might make a part 2 if I think of a bunch more stuff, because there's a lot of stuff in Vallaki. So fucking much. Thank you for watching Magical Tea Party. We're getting better at this video thing. Like, subscribe, comment, ding the bell, and rate 5 stars. Because you used to be able to do that. You can rate videos 5 stars. Rate us 5 stars on Yahoo. Rictavio, Rudolf van Richten. No, Rudolf van Richten. No.